Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my live stream. This is Jacob Cast 2024. The fallout from Elimination Chamber that was on Saturday. This video was sponsored by PlayStation. It was sponsored by my favorite podcasters. It's all about the sound of JD from New York and Fightful Pro Wrestling and other podcasters that I know of. I'm gonna make this live stream like an hour and 10 minutes. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys want to see more. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Okay, so gonna go through the entire show tonight. Go through all the matches. The show was like 2.5 hours. Okay. See how the show started. The show opened up with The Vision, Paul Heyman, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory. Then we had the security guard. Then we had those mad people distracting the security guards. And then we got, they distracted the security. Then one math attacker attacked it. They distracted the Vision, so it distracted Austin Theory and Logan Paul to run out there and go after those mass figures. But we did get Seth Rollins. As you guys know, Seth Rollins came back. He curved on Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman was alone in the ring. No Theory, no Logan Paul. Braun Strowman and Braun Breaker are hurt. Seth Rollins came out and he curved on Paul Heyman. First, hit him with a chair. Came from behind him with a chair and he curved dumped him. Paul Heyman was busted open. He had to be escorted and put in an ambulance. And what was also funny, LA Knight steals an ambulance and drove off with Paul Heyman in it. I don't know where that's leading, but it gotta be leading to something. We did get Gunther and Dragon Lee. That was the opener. That was the first match. Gunther beat Dragon Lee. Pretty quick match. Pretty good match. I don't know what Gunther doing in WrestleMania. We did get AJ Lee come out with her new Intercontinental title. She vowed to be a fighting champion. Now, obviously, she's going to show up full time because it's WrestleMania season. We'll see what AJ does going to WrestleMania. Who's going to challenge her? Right now, she had no opponent. Now, Becky wasn't on the show, but we'll see what AJ goes with the title. We had a pretty good segment or vignette with Liv Morgan. She revealed why she chose Stephanie Vaquer for the World Championship. Pretty decent segment. We also got the original Grande Americano versus Via Americano. They still don't know what to do with this Americano shit. I bet they end it and move on. Can we go back to Chad Gable and the original and Chad Gable and Kaiser? Enough of this Americano bullshit. I bet they get rid of that. Actually, I'm not sure what to use them here. Now we did get a brawl with Rusev and Obafemi. Oh wait, whoop, my bad. Obafemi and Rusev. Well, Rusev not on the game, but we did get a pretty good brawl with Rusev and Obafemi. I'm kind of confused here. Is Oba on Raw or is he on SmackDown? Because he was on SmackDown going after Kit Wilson. Now he's on Raw and he brawled with Rusev. We don't know what he's doing in WrestleMania. But they had a pretty good brawl. I think Oba stood tall from Rusev. We'll probably get this match next week. There was no Brock Lesnar tonight. I don't know if we are going to get Brock Lesnar and Oba. He wrestling Rusev. So, after that, we did get a promo or segment with Rhea Ripley. She vowed to win the Women's Championship from Jade Cargill. She actually had a pretty good segment with her and Io. Now Rhea's on Raw. She's gonna go to SmackDown. Now they're going to Jade. Then we did get Dan Hudson. He curses Dominic Mysterio. Now the only big thing on the show was that we have a brand new Intercontinental Champion, and his name is Penta. So Penta versus Dominic was a very good match for the IC title. Penta finally wins gold. He wins his first single championship in the company. He beat Dominic after all these attempts. I think this is like the 7th time that he got an IC title. Now I know a couple of weeks, was it last week, where Penta was the number contender to face Dominic IC title. I thought they hold off until WrestleMania, but they did tonight on Raw, on a random Raw. Oh yeah, I forgot Penta. He's not on this game. I'll use Rey Mysterio. Oh wait, hold on. So Penta, I know that Penta not on the game, but I'll use Rey to take his spot. Penta beat Dominic. No Judgment got involved, but there was some tension with JD McDonough and Finn Balor at ringside. Now that Dominic lost the IC title clean, Balor lost the CM Punk clean at the Chamber. Hopefully the tension with the Judgment Day and there's some breakup there or dissension. But it was a very good match. We also got Austin Theory versus Jimmy Uso in a match tonight. And then Jey Uso, and after I think Jimmy won, and then Jey Uso came back, and so clearly they're setting up the Vision and the Uso for the tag team titles. We just don't know when. So I think that was about it. Only 5 matches, really. Well, this show was pretty short. Obviously, Gunther got the win. Gran Americano. The Oba. And then Penta got the victory. Pretty sure Jimmy won. Well, we're on the road to WrestleMania, and it doesn't feel like WrestleMania, the build-up. Also, the main event segment that closed the show was CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
I do hate you.
CM Punk leaves Roman Reigns speechless.
If you didn't have that title, I'd be indifferent to you.
Hold on, I want you guys to hear this.
Exist. You wouldn't even be on my radar. Phil, let's remind you real quick. We brought you back here to entertain the 30 to 40-year-old virgins that live with their mom and dad. We brought you back to sell a few t-shirts here and there. We brought you back to maybe draw a house in Chicago. But we didn't bring you back to be champion, no. That's too much responsibility for you. That's too much power. That's above your pay grade. We can't trust you, Phil. You're a liar. You lie to all these people, and unfortunately, they believe you. You got them thinking that you're having a good time here. You got them thinking that you're a locker room veteran and leader, that you're making all these towns happy, that you're running these tours with a smile on your face. And you can lie in your interviews, and you can tweet that out on Instagram that you're hanging out with my cousins all you want to the world, but we all know the truth. Every second you get, you're bitching and moaning back there, and they cannot wait to tell me every time that I come around. And that's why you're not fit to be champion. You're not CM Punk. You're just a punk-ass bitch to me.
Damn.
And at Mania, this backup plan, it ends. And when I win that championship, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put your punk ass on one of them John Cena retirement tours. We're gonna max you out, we're gonna make as much money off of you, and then you wanna know what's gonna happen? We're gonna send you down to NXT, and you're gonna teach the next generation how to do what we do, and when you're done, you're gonna send them up to me, and the tribal chief is gonna smash each and every one of them.
You think you could just walk away from me? Were you done? Were you done, Roman? Well, I'm not, and you're gonna stand here and listen to everything I got to say. You just said a bunch of shit, and we gotta cover it all. First things first, we? Who's we? You got some extra Samoan goblins in your pocket that I can't see? Huh? You're all alone. You're alone on your bus. You're alone in your room. Your cousins aren't with you anymore. There's no more shield to help you do anything. Hell, you don't even have a wise man anymore. And look at me. I took him away from you. No, you're all alone, and I love moments like this because it just illustrates your entire career. You chasing me. I'm the champ. You're in the main event of WrestleMania, not just because you won the Royal Rumble, but because I'm the main event. I'm on Netflix. This is my show. I run things here. I'm in the locker room, yeah, hanging out with your cousins, and you're all alone, and you can't get things done when you're by yourself, can you? You hate me? Fair enough. You can hate me all you want. I don't even care if you love me. One thing I won't let you do is disrespect me. You're gonna retire me? You're gonna retire CM Punk. Well, brother, you just made the list. You went from getting beat at WrestleMania. Now I'm gonna bury you. And then you won't be all alone anymore. Because I'm gonna bury you next to your father.
That was a great segment. What a way to end the show. That was the highlight of Monday Night Raw. The only thing I actually cared about on this show was CM Punk and Roman Reigns that closed the show. That was great. Everything else was very forgettable and just shit. Monday Night Raw fucking awful. Dom got cursed. Alright, now let's go into some of the podcasters on here. I think
Tuesday night, and I got a little surprise for everybody. We got a brand new edition of The Adventures of Jeff Jarrett and Big G.
alright, we got Fightful with Sean WhatsApp.
The people I'm getting saying, oh, if you want to show up at Arena Mexico unharmed. Well, first off, look at me. You ain't doing shit. That last match, I should say, got great 84, right? Wow. Really high score. Great 84. Okay, Roman made his way down to the ring and was very quickly interrupted by CM Punk. CM Punk said, look, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm acknowledging Roman Reigns, but I really hope that you came here to say, or maybe do more than that, because we're not going to waste a lot of money on one of your dates just for that, because, brother...
Alright, let's go into Denise.
We are here at Planet Fitness.
Gonna show you all the podcasters first.
Biggest games. Join.
But I thought this was fantastic, man. It makes me sad that we can't get this every every single week or something similar, or just some sort of interaction between Roman and CM Punk every single damn week leading into WrestleMania. Because if we did, that shit would be lit. Now I don't know how many dates Roman is supposed to be here for. I know they put out a graphic and all of that, but I don't
March
remember the
2nd,
graphic.
March 16th, March 23rd, March 30th, and April 13th.
Oh, so we kind of have them for, wait, say those dates again one more time?
According to this, it's March, after today, March 16th, March 23rd, March 30th, and April 13th.
Okay, so he's going to basically be there for 1 month prior to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So he has 1 week off, which is next week, and then after that he'll be here every week. Okay, that's so good. Yes, you know what? We'll take what we can get, man. And I'm looking forward to that 1 month period of getting to see Roman Reigns and CM Punk consistently. I want to see more vignettes. I want to see more of shit getting personal between them. Like I'll take another confrontation, at least one more. And then of course the brawling. It's gonna have to happen. We're gonna have to get some sort of an attack. I want to see them get creative with this one, because these are two men. I mean, Roman Reigns was basically calling CM Punk soft. Even I would like him to even utilize social media even more, because when Roman Reigns does tweet out stuff, or if CM Punk were to put something out, it would hit harder than if anybody else on the roster in any other storyline did. When you have Roman and CM Punk tweeting, people shut up and pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. His tweet the other day, stopped me in my tracks too. Like, what, yo? So it does feel like a bigger deal. And I think, tonight they did a good job possibly establishing some of the rest of the WrestleMania card. And I think in Elimination Chamber, they strongly hinted that the night one main event is going to be Cody and Randy, which feels bigger than anything else that they had planned for that spot. But yes, of course.
Poor Drew catching strays. Robin, how dare you?
I mean, I just tell the truth to these as I see it. I'm not.
Oh, and by the
No
way,
one's
I got a
hearing it.
conspiracy theory that I want to share about that in a second. So remind me to share that on this show.
You could, because I might not remind you.
Do you
Share
Okay. Okay. Well, okay, fine. My conspiracy theory, and I was talking about this on the post show, but I didn't say what my conspiracy theory was. I saved this specifically for right now. All right. So we all know that on SmackDown they're going to do Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes, and clearly, I think we're all predicting Cody Rhodes wins there and goes off to WrestleMania to face Randy, and that is going to be the match. So the question is, was that always the plan? Was the plan always to have Cody Rhodes versus Randy, or was there ever a shot that Drew McIntyre was actually going to make it to WrestleMania as champion? Here's my conspiracy theory. I don't think WWE ever intended for Drew McIntyre to be champion at WrestleMania. In fact, I think they took the title off of Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes is one of their biggest stars. He's their QB1. And they wanted to have Cody Rhodes take part of what two big matches took place during that time? The Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. I think they took the title off of him just so that they could put him in those matches and utilize his star power for those two particular matches without having to put him in an individual storyline and sell both the Rumble and the Chamber with Cody Rhodes in it. So I don't think they ever intended to have Drew go to WrestleMania. I believe that was always the plan.
I agree that it was never the intention for Drew McIntyre to be the champ at WrestleMania. I don't know if it's because they wanted Cody in the Rumble and the Elimination Chamber necessarily, but if you recall back, there were a lot of those segments where Randy Orton was giving that title a look, and it was Cody Rhodes that had it at the time, right? So to me, that was actually a long tease to this match. It's kind of a dream match in a sense. It's a marquee match. Now, whether it was to get Cody in the Rumble or in the Elimination Chamber, perhaps it could have also just been to mix it up a little bit, because it had gotten a little formulaic. I was certain Cody Rhodes was going to win that match, and then he lost, and I'm like, holy shit. So was it for that, and the other thing was an added benefit? I don't know, but maybe you're right. But I don't believe it.
I'm like 90+% positive in my conspiracy theory.
Oh, I mean, I'm in 100%.
Feeling it. I have the hunch. Woman's intuition, Robin.
Yeah. I don't think the plan was ever for Drew to be the champion at WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. And I think that I thought that was originally going to happen. And now that I really take a step back and think about it, that makes the most sense to me. And also the fact that Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, like you mentioned, they've been having those teases, God, for forever. Forever. How many times didn't Randy go up to Cody and say, hey man, whenever I get the chance, I'm going after your title. I'm doing it in a respectable way because I respect you, Cody. They did that at least like 3 times. So like they were telling us for the longest time, this is going to be the WrestleMania match. And it took me a second to really realize that and go, they've been telling us this for a long ass time. And I think no matter what, we were always going to get back to Randy versus Cody because Randy, having that match for Cody is, like a dream match for him. And he's been talking about it in press conferences and interviews and you name it. So it was always right there. And, I was blinded by the lights, Robin. I was blinded.
Well, I mean, they did do a nice job with the swerves in that sense, with Drew winning it. And then even, like, at the time, it felt kind of surprising when Randy won the Elimination Chamber until the RKO out of nowhere, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that makes... Because I got a text right after that, and, somebody said, was it multi-man match at WrestleMania? I was like, well, unless Cody gets the title back, it's a multi-man match. Because I knew it wasn't going to be Randy and Drew. And then sure enough, Nick Aldis gives Cody the chance like 10 minutes later.
Literally crazy, huh? We found out during the post show. I didn't even know. When people started telling me, I thought they were just speculating. Then they were like, "No, this is happening." I was like, what is happening?" And then all of everything just fell into place. Anyways, we got Uncle Don here who says that smoke him, Roman. Oh, he definitely did. He smoked him like a brisket. We got Uncle Don here who says Phil crossed the line there. He had to sink very, very low. Cue the Kelly Clarkson song. That is exactly what we saw there. We got Plus Ultra Adrian here who says Raw went by fast because it was actually good. Dude, I felt so stupid at the end of the show when we saw the little end screens. I'm like, oh shit, Raw. So it'll happen. And then, they showed a camera shot of the entrance, but then nothing happened. So I thought, I guess that's not happening today.
Kind of feels like most of AJ is more honorable right now, and Dom still likes to play a little dirty. So I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Thank you, multi-billionaire. We got Kevin H. Hey, Kevin, how are you? He says, hey, Denise, is it fair to say that Roman might be better than Punk on the mic? Look, I can't say it because CM Punk has been great for a longer period of time. And with while he was that guy that showed up, but then they didn't really do anything with him. He would kind of pop in here and there, but then that was like the extent of it all. And then I think things changed after he teamed with AJ Styles. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Styles kind of put in a good word for
on one of these Raws going forward. So Brock standing there in the ring and like Danhausen.
All right, look on to Just Allen.
This breakup between Finn Balor and the Judgment Day, and also Finn Balor going babyface. I'm very excited to see how things play out. I think this is great. I'm super excited to see where things go. I loved the last 30 minutes of the show. I loved the first 30 minutes because that included the opener and then Gunther versus Dragon Lee. So, yes, first 30 minutes was great. Last 30 minutes was awesome. The rest of the show, can I be honest with you? We're being honest because this is a review, right? I didn't think the other third of the show, so the last 30, first 30, and then the rest of the, what was that, an hour and 30, wasn't all that great. I didn't. I mean, it was nice to see certain
certain people. No women's match. No tag matches. No Javon Evans. I didn't think the rest of Raw was all that great. Speaking of women, Rhea Ripley came out with Io Sky. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Am I the only one? Every time I see Rhea and Io on stage, waiting for them to make out, I'm sorry, look, I'm sorry, it's not me. Those two are very touchy-feely intimate with
devolved into Smash and Crush as the only two members of Demolition, and they didn't do jack shit. They went into WrestleMania to wrestle with Kenru or something at WrestleMania 7. It was just what a way to fade out. You know, it was just such an unremarkable time.
On Dominic Mysterio. The first 40 minutes of the show is flying by, and I'm like, man, I don't know if they can keep this pace up for the rest of the show. Spoiler, they couldn't. But I was very happy with the way Raw opened tonight. All right, for the majority of that first hour. And then after that, it died for a while. Once we hit the Americano business, it died for a while. Nothing terrible, but just it couldn't keep up the pace, and even the crowd was like, all right, you know, we move on from this. I see the Americanos on my screen, and it's just like, you know, I think there's 7 weeks left between now and WrestleMania. How the hell are we going to sit through 7 more weeks of the Americano stuff and find a way to make it interesting? That's not my job. That's WWE's job. Because we know we're not going to get the Americanos if they're going to do a mask match. I know they're doing stuff in AAA. I would have to think there's going to be something with them on the WrestleMania card. And so by that logic, we still have a long ways to go. But then we got to the final 2 segments of the show. Because really it was the opening and then the final 2 segments. And we had Penta defending, or challenging rather, for Dominic Mysterio, who was defending his Intercontinental Championship. And we also had Danhausen on the show. Danhausen had a very polarizing debut at the Elimination Chamber. A lot of discourse online about Danhausen. I like Danhausen. Danhausen was on the show tonight in the back, and he put a curse on Dominic Mysterio. And I thought, uh-oh. This man just debuted in this company. I don't think they want the curse to be thrown around lightly here. If he's throwing a curse on somebody, that probably does not mean good things for Dominic Mysterio. That's probably a spoiler of what's to come. And it was, because we have a new Intercontinental Champion. His name is Penta. Finally, if Penta didn't win that match tonight, I wouldn't even be sitting here knowing what to say. I would be without speech. I would be without words. I want to say tonight was the 7th or 8th time that he has gone for the Intercontinental Championship. We've seen this time and time again. He could not afford to go into another title match tonight and lose again. This was a must-win for Penta, and he did. And now we have a new champion. It was actually a very good match. Very good match, great closing sequence, and that then led into the closing segment of the show. As was the case after the Royal Rumble when we saw them in the ring together for the first time, they closed the show then, they closed the show now, as they should, because there really was no following up on this. No one was going to go on after this and have any segment that was going to be any better than what we got here. It was Roman Reigns and it was CM Punk. We have not seen Roman in about a month. As I told you the last time we saw him, goodbye Roman, because there's no point in seeing him anyway until after the Elimination Chamber is over. So here we are. And they went out there tonight and they did what they did the first time. This was part 2. And what they did here was they exchanged some very personal digs at each other. They dug back into their history together. We had mentions of The Shield, and we had mentions of Paul Heyman, and we had the cousins that no longer hang out with you. There was some overlap with what we heard in their first promo. Roman telling Punk again, you're right, I do hate you. A lot of we. Right? We brought you back for this reason. We had this plan for you. We wanted you back to sell t-shirts. We wanted you back to maybe pop a house in Chicago, not to be the champion, right? You're a cancer in the back, and you're bitching and moaning in the back, and all of this stuff. The one thing I will say about these segments, it is, and I don't believe that there's any, legitimate bad blood between the two of them, but they're very good at convincing you that there just might be. Which I think is what we need more of here on this road to WrestleMania. We need more conflict, and we kind of have that a little bit with the WWE title situation right now that's playing out on SmackDown, and hopefully they'll lean into that more in the weeks to come. We need more of that. We need more of that personal animosity and that conflict between parties, because right now Roman Reigns and CM Punk are carrying the WrestleMania card. We still don't know how most of the rest of the card is going to shape up. We know Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer are going to wrestle. We know Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill are going to wrestle. But even the WWE title scene, the WWE title match at WrestleMania, it's still wide open. It's up in the air. We don't know. It all comes down to what happens on SmackDown this Friday. Roman Reigns and CM Punk they're like Atlas. They're holding the show up on their shoulders right now. And it can't just be the two of them. But they know what their job is when they go out there. They are out there to sell a WrestleMania main event. And that is what they did again tonight. I did not think it was as good or as strong as their first promo all those weeks ago, which is not to say that this wasn't good. It was. A bit of an odd dig at the very end there when CM Punk closed it out, and he took a shot at Roman's father in a way by saying, I'm going to bury you next to your father at WrestleMania. And Roman didn't quite know how to react to this. I know how I would have reacted to it if somebody had made a crack about my family member like that. I would have punched him in the fucking mouth. Roman just stood there. And Punk left. He was standing there. He was angry. He was speechless. He didn't know what to say. And so that is how Raw went off the air tonight. Another strong verbal joust between the two of them. Roman's going to be making several more appearances, not next week. He will not be on the show next week. But they're going to get him back, and so he'll have the chance to come right back at Punk. And I'm sure that he's going to take a dig at Punk's dead dog. I'm sure that's coming. Oh, I'm sure it's coming. It's going to get even more personal. They're going to get down in the gutter with each other. And then at some point we'll get the pull-apart brawl. It's too early to give that away now. If anything, I wanted the segment to go on longer. But that's what you should shoot for, right? You want to shoot for leave people wanting more. That's the reaction that you should want. Like, oh man, I wish they would have gotten 5 more minutes. I wanted to see more, right? Well, you got to tune in next time to see more. So the Punk and Roman stuff so far has been great. The Penta match I thought was very good. The Gunther match with Dragon Lee stole the show as far as in-ring is concerned. And then the rest of the show, it was just kind of there. Nothing bad, but you know, again, some of these mid-card stories, they still have to flesh things out a little bit more. They have 7 weeks to do so when it comes to, like, the women's Intercontinental title, even the men's Intercontinental title. It's great, you know, that Penta walked out with the championship tonight, but I couldn't help but wonder, you know, the cynic in me. I'm watching this, and I'm like, man, this is great for Penta. And I'm like, it still felt like it was more about the Judgment Day drama than it was about the fact that Penta just finally won the Intercontinental title. And we know the Judgment Day stuff is going to play out at WrestleMania, Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Is Penta even going to have a match on the show? I would hope so. I would hope that Penta will be defending that championship against somebody at WrestleMania. But we'll have to wait and see. We also got a little bit more clarity, I think, about what the Usos are going to be doing and who they are going to be defending their tag team titles against at WrestleMania. So we'll talk about that and get into the rest of this show as well. But there was other news today. And I'm just going to go ahead and bust it out right now. We got to bust out the confetti. Back in the day. And not to mention the fact that individually, they had success in wrestling, playing other roles, both in and out of WWE. So it wasn't like the only thing they ever did was Demolition. And every year would go by, and you know, you would see these other names from that era of wrestling that would pass on, and then posthumously they would be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and it was like, man, this is bullshit. Because every year that goes by, you know, it's like you're just tempting fate here. And one of these days, these men are going to get their moment in the sun. Because whatever you think about the Hall of Fame, for the individuals, you know, for them to get their flowers one last time, or for them to be able to, speak to whatever contemporaries may be left. I don't believe that I can sit with my legs bent like that to be the booker from Logan Paul. The next time Seth Rollins is in a WWE ring, they're going to stomp his ass out. And that's not a prediction. That's not a spoiler. That's a personal guarantee from the Vision. Austin Theory then spoke. He said absolutely nothing of note outside of him and Seth. They have history together. History that I guarantee you 75% of the audience doesn't even remember. So then Logan took the mic. He called Rollins a scumbag. He eliminated 3 men, he said, in the Elimination Chamber before he stole the victory from him. And the last man to do that was Brock Lesnar. That is the kind of company that he keeps. So the rest of the show is not happening until Seth Rollins comes out here. And as Heyman is struggling to get back up, he's on all fours now. Rollins comes in, he stomps his ass out, and he left him laying. And with that, Rollins left back through the crowd. We never saw him again for the rest of the night. We never heard from him. Medics ran down to the ring to tend to Paul Heyman, who was moving around. It wasn't like he was unconscious, but he was gushing blood from his nose. So we had Heyman into a late job, but we had Heyman showing some color here on this show. And after the commercial break, they showed him being loaded into an ambulance in the back. Logan Paul's freaking out. Austin Theory's freaking out. They're telling him, take him, help him. I don't know where Logan Paul disappeared to, but Austin Theory, he sees an SUV parked over next to the ambulance, right a few feet away. He walks over to the SUV thinking that Logan, I guess, is in the driver's seat. He was going to get Logan Paul, but Logan Paul was not in the driver's seat. Jimmy Uso was. And Jimmy Uso proceeded to beat the crap out of Austin Theory. I guess payback for what he figures was their attacking his brother on SmackDown, even though they denied it. Just like Drew McIntyre has always denied being the one to beat up Jacob Fatu all those months ago. But he beat up Austin Theory. And then Jimmy Uso walks over to the ambulance. And we see in the driver's seat is LA Knight. He has commandeered the ambulance as LA Knight. And he looks out the window and he goes, "Nice work. I'll take it from here." He goes, "Don't worry, boys. He'll get the help he needs." Yeah. And off he goes. And LA Knight speeds off with Paul. He has kidnapped Paul Heyman. It's not enough that we have kidnappings on Dynamite with Darby Allin and the War Dogs. Now we have a kidnapping here on this show. We never got any sort of update for the rest of the night. We have no idea where LA Knight took Paul Heyman. He could be driving, he could be out of the country by now. I don't know. Where were they tonight? Indianapolis? It would take him a little while, I guess, to get south of the border. Maybe he went to the Canadian border. I don't know. But that was the last we saw of LA Knight and Paul Heyman for the rest of the night. At least LA Knight was not given a chance to fall off anything tonight. Tonight was a much better night. Brief as it was, tonight was a much better night for LA Knight than Saturday was. And that was the opening segment here on the show. So it was a hot start to the show. There was a lot going on here. And the Vision got their comeuppance. And I was left to wonder, though, because we know that this open challenge I said a few weeks ago, you know, you could always do a tag match or something, but I think we got a pretty good sense of what the other members of the Vision are going to be doing at WrestleMania. And I don't necessarily think it's going to have anything to do with Seth Rollins. So we have to at least consider that as a possibility for Brock. So after this opening segment, all the madness of it, we go into Gunther against Dragon Lee. And that hot start continued because as Gunther, who entered first, was making his way down to the ring, Dragon Lee was not waiting. And Dragon Lee jumped him from behind in the aisle. Would even be for him going into WrestleMania. I just can't imagine they have any. So it felt like to me like he knew, okay, this is a big opportunity for me. I'm in there with a big name on the roster. I don't know when I'm going to have another chance to go out there and have a match like this. So I'm going to go out there and we're just going to have a fucking battle. And that's what this match was. He was giving it to Gunther. Gunther was giving it right back to him. It really felt like...
Oh, it's not happening. 2026, I'm your host, JD, from New York, as always. Coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Especially where Roman Reigns is talking about mother's basements on Monday Night Raw. On this Monday evening, wherever you may be. You know, I can't post anything negative about WWE lately, man. A lot of people are up in their feelings lately. The slightest tone of negativity online is met with, oh, well, JD, you gotta give them time to cook, JD. Listen, bro, it doesn't take me long to cook a fucking dinner for two, okay? Give me a break. Anything negative about Monday Night Raw or WWE in general is going to drum up the virgins that Roman Reigns talked about tonight in his promo with CM Punk. But truth be told, the television show has not been good lately. And if you think it's good, you have poor taste. And if you think it's good, you're accepting mediocrity. And if you think it's good, you are the problem. Because WWE will never change, because they are listening to people like you. With that said, Monday Night Raw, in my opinion, I enjoyed Raw better than I did the Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber, these WWE PLEs in general, are nothing more than glorified Monday Night Raw shows. And they're labeled as premium, and there's nothing premium about them. There's premium commercials, and there's premium advertisements, but there's nothing about the on-air product that is premium. I enjoyed tonight's Monday Night Raw better than the Elimination Chamber because we started hot at the top and we ended hot with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. We're going to save Roman Reigns and CM Punk for the ending. We'll talk about them a little bit later. They didn't really get physical. We got 7 weeks to go. Nothing physical outside of Roman Reigns thinking he had a mic drop on CM Punk, and CM Punk grabbed his arm, and he got the last word tonight, which was, what sealed the deal? CM Punk won round 2 here against Roman Reigns. They are now tied 1-1. It's like two superstar boxers going at it. Roman won about 4 weeks ago, and then tonight CM Punk won round 2. There was a couple of other, not really major things that happened on tonight's show, but 2 medium important things that happened on tonight's show that kind of gives us a little bit of a direction, a little glimpse into where WWE may be thinking and where they may be going heading into WrestleMania. I want to start with Gunther and Dragon Lee. That was the match that started the show off tonight. I don't know what Gunther's doing at WrestleMania. I've been predicting it's going to be Gunther and Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. It's the only thing I can think of. Tonight, I think we got one step closer to that actually being the case.
Gunther and Dragon Lee put on a great opening match to tonight's Monday Night Raw. In fact, it was better than anything on the Elimination Chamber card. Not surprising, Gunther is great. No matter how much people dislike him, Gunther is great, and he gets great heat. And Dragon Lee is fantastic. Makes you wonder why WWE didn't actually put this match on the Elimination Chamber card to bring the overall rating of the Elimination Chamber up. I get that they need to save everything for television and they need to fill out these television shows on Monday and Friday, but I think more people are bothered by the four-match PLE format than anything. Absolutely no excuses why this match couldn't be on the PLE last night or on Saturday. Regardless, they opened the show, great match, and it was at the end of the match that Dragon Lee was unmasked. WWE's got this thing about unmasking. Lately, it's their favorite thing to do, unmasking. We got ski masks and mystery men being unmasked. And now we got Dragon Lee getting unmasked by the hands of Gunther. Now, some people had a meltdown on social media that Dragon Lee was unmasked. And some people within the IWC, some of the esteemed journalists, were very trigger happy and very quick with the screenshot of Dragon Lee momentarily being fully unmasked. And you can see everything about his face that they rushed to social media to go post this for whatever engagement and whatever pennies that Elon is going to be paying them at the end of the month. It's kind of lame. I don't know why anybody would kind of elicit that type of behavior. And if you got shit on for it, I don't blame you for shitting on something like that because it's fucking disrespectful, even though it was in the middle of a match and probably has a lot to do with the story that they're telling. Gunther unmasked Dragon Lee. Sleeper hold. He didn't let go of the hold. And then the match ended. There was no post-match attack. There was no promo. There was nobody out confronting him because of his disrespect to Lucha Libre. Gunther used one of the cheapest tactics in all of pro wrestling, wrestling a luchador and unmasking him to win a match. If this isn't headed towards a Rey Mysterio-Gunther match at WrestleMania, I don't know what is going to be the match for Gunther. The reason why they did that spot tonight was because that basically is the entire tale. Gunther's not going to be able to retire anybody else until Brock Lesnar or whoever else wants to hang up the wrestling boots. The career killer is going to have to go on the shelf for a little bit. That doesn't mean we can't kind of tweak that a little bit and disrespect in another way. So now he's targeting Lucha Libre. He beat Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee put up one hell of a fight, unmasked him, put him in a sleeper hold, and goodbye. I'm assuming Gunther's going to come out next week and gloat about what he did and disrespect the art of Lucha Libre even furthermore, and then out comes Rey Mysterio. I'm assuming this is where we're going. Is that your desired? Is that your preferred WrestleMania match? Probably not. But like I said once, twice, and every single time I mention him, Gunther doesn't have bad matches. Gunther generates real heat. Gunther generates heel heat. And he's going to do that in the best way possible with Rey Mysterio because the topic of discussion means a whole hell of a lot to Rey Mysterio. And when you got someone like Gunther who's going to shit all over that, Lucha Libre, it's going to lead to a very good match with a lot of emotion. So I'm all for it. There really isn't any other way to go with Gunther outside of that. I thought what they did in the open was tremendous. The other big thing that happened tonight was Penta. Intercontinental Championship. He beats Dominic Mysterio. Dominic was kind of in the same boat as Jade Cargill. Hasn't defended that championship since he's won it. And he beat John Cena for it at Survivor Series. I know there was a little bit of an injury that started in the beginning of December, second week of December. He showed back up in the Royal Rumble. Was he in the Royal Rumble? I don't even remember. Around that time frame.
Night.
He showed up on Monday following the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I don't think he was in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
So he showed up, legitimately about a month and a half later. Showed up when Liv Morgan won her Royal Rumble to introduce Liv Morgan to the world as the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time. Hasn't defended the title once, and he comes across Danhausen. Yes, Danhausen, the circus freak, Danhausen, who got booed in Chicago on his debut. Danhausen, whose debut is being compared to the Gobbledygooker. That's one of the worst debuts in WWE history. Why he got that spot is still very questionable. Why he got such big billing on the show is still very bizarre, especially on the road to WrestleMania with 7 weeks to go. Danhausen came across Judgment Day. Danhausen cursed Dominic Mysterio. He was laughed at. He disappeared. Dominic wrestled Penta. And Finn Balor. He didn't want to be out there because he told Dominic Mysterio several times, you got to do this on your own. I'm doing what I got to do on my own. You do this on your own. So he reluctantly went out there with JD McDonough to sit and watch Dominic leave his match against Penta. Dominic found an opening in the match and grabbed one of the guys in the Judgment Day, JD McDonough. Told him, go get me the bell hammer. Get me the bell hammer, and he's going to try and win the match by cheating, as usual. So Finn Balor sees this, he gets up and he stops JD McDonough from handing the bell hammer to Dominic Mysterio. Penta takes both of them out. One thing leads to another. And Penta ends up winning the Intercontinental Championship, ending this reign of terror by Dominic Mysterio. Finally, we have an Intercontinental Champion that puts the term fighting champion back in business. That title was doing nothing around the belt, around the waist rather. That belt wasn't doing anything around the waist of Dominic Mysterio. Now he's got the AAA Mega Championship. He's headed towards another match with Vikingo. I don't know if it leads to him losing that belt as well. Maybe Danhausen's curse is going to span multiple promotions. Or maybe Finn is going to stop JD McDonough from helping Dominic Mysterio retain that championship as well. But it's not about the curse. That was just a sly way to get Danhausen involved on Monday Night Raw and give him some 45-second comedy segment on Monday night. It's about Dominic and it's about Finn. Finn wanted Dominic to win on his own. Finn went out there with the Judgment Day and tried to do everything he needed to do to win by himself. What was Finn's words tonight, chat? I'm pretty proud about the way everything transpired at Elimination Chamber. He went out there, he came within an eyelash hair, beating CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title. He almost did it, and he failed. And then he shook CM Punk's hand. Dominic Mysterio, he doesn't shake anybody's hand. Dominic Mysterio will take the cheapest way out to get by and get what he wants. Finn is tired of all this. Finn wants the Judgment Day to be more like what he does. He sees all this nonsense going in and around the Judgment Day, and he said, you know what, tonight's the night I'm going to step in and fuck that up. So this is step one. It's been years in the making. Hopefully we get a resolution here. Don't know where that's going to lead, but I'm hoping it leads to Finn Balor getting booted out of the Judgment Day, and we get Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania. Other than that, I don't really know what else Finn Balor does at WrestleMania, and at this point, being that he's on TV every week in multiple segments, I don't think it's nice to keep Finn Balor off of WrestleMania.
I don't think that's a good idea. So, Balor, Dominic, this is step one. What's step two? Maybe he aids in Dominic losing that AAA Mega Championship. Maybe he aids in Liv Morgan not getting the job done against Stephanie Vaquer. And at that point, a decision needs to be made. And possibly on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, the Judgment Day finally kicks out Finn Balor. Either there or on the road, which I'm hoping we get on the road, and then we get Balor and Dominic. But it's certainly being set up. Balor going single, Balor going babyface, possibly getting the Demon back, and hopefully we can put this Judgment Day story behind us, because it's been building for almost 2 years now, probably more than that. CM Punk and Roman Reigns, they were the closing segment of tonight's show, round 2, face-to-face. Some big bombs verbally were thrown there at each other. Alba Femi and Rusev made official for next week as they had a face-to-face tonight, and they actually got into a brawl in the middle of the ring. And then we'll go over Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill, which leaves us to Io. What is Io Sky doing at WrestleMania? I don't know if she's challenging AJ Lee for the Intercontinental Championship. She's in a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for AJ Lee and the Intercontinental Champion. But I think I may have an idea. I don't know where WWE's mind is at, but I feel like Io Sky is going to be in something pretty emotional at WrestleMania. We'll go over what that is and go over the rest of this show tonight right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw review for March 2nd, 2026. That, for the record, is neither a prediction or a spoiler. It is a personal guarantee from the Vision. Austin Theory took the microphone and he got some promo time here. He says he wants to propose his theory. He looked angry, cutting this promo, as he said he and Seth go way back. Crowd cut him off, chanting, "You suck, you suck." Logan then grabbed the microphone and he called Rollins a scumbag, and then he started bragging about eliminating 3 people in the men's Elimination Chamber match. Logan said the rest of the show is not happening until Rollins comes out here to answer the Vision, so he is therefore hijacking Monday Night Raw. Those usually don't go the way the hijacker wants it to go, so out comes Adam Pearce. He's out there with security. He says he understands it. He says he gets it. Pearce blamed the Vision. He didn't stutter here either. He blamed the Vision for attacking Jey Uso on SmackDown. Heyman says they didn't do anything to Jey, but he pleads guilty to what they will do to Seth Rollins. Pearce said, "Don't worry about Rollins. I'm going to talk to Seth Rollins. I want to talk to him, but I can't do it here with you guys in the ring. Otherwise, Seth Rollins is going to do something he's going to regret." Pearce then went on to say Rollins is not medically cleared to compete right now. All of a sudden, we get a masked man leaping over the barricade, and he was quickly chased out of the arena. Now, I knew right away that this wasn't Seth Rollins. Then we got a second masked man. He came towards the ring, and he was chased through the crowd by Logan Paul. A third masked man showed up, and Theory chased him into the crowd and out of the building. So if you are good at subtraction, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, the only 2 members remaining in the Vision, chased 2 masked men out of the ring as they infiltrated the ringside area. This left Paul Heyman all by himself. I'm assuming we'd see a masked man here engage Paul Heyman. A 4th masked man walked down the aisle. Heyman pleaded with this 4th masked man, and we see the crowd start to erupt as another masked man, a fifth masked man, shows up from behind Paul Heyman as he's entertaining the fourth masked man. Seth Rollins jumps onto the apron wearing a ski mask. He unmasks himself. The crowd goes crazy. He's got a steel chair, and he blasts Paul Heyman in the back with a steel chair. Heyman got on his hands and knees, begging for Seth Rollins to not go any further, and Seth hit him with a stomp. So they made a promise that they were going to stomp Seth Rollins' ass, and it actually worked against them. It was Seth Rollins who stomped Paul Heyman's ass out. Seth stood over Heyman, crowd sang his song, Rollins left through the crowd, and medics came to check on Paul Heyman as we go to the back after a commercial break. We saw the replay of Rollins delivering the chair shot to the back, followed by the stomp to Heyman. Heyman had blood on his face. He was being helped up the aisleway. And in the back, Heyman was loaded into an ambulance strapped to a gurney. He had EMTs surrounding him in the back of the ambulance. Logan, in theory, yelled at the EMTs to help Heyman. Logan went to go get the rental car. A black SUV rolled up. Theory thought it was Logan Paul. So out comes Jimmy Uso. He starts brawling with Austin Theory. He takes Austin Theory out and tossed him over some cargo crates. Shay walked up to the driver of the ambulance, who turned out to be LA Knight. So LA Knight said he's going to take it from there and yelled to the back of the EMTs in the back of the ambulance, "Don't worry, boys. He'll get the help he needs." Yeah. Ambulance sped off. Logan Paul is out. Austin Theory out. Jimmy Uso's back. LA Knight's driving Paul Heyman to the hospital, apparently, or God knows where. And he drove off with Paul Heyman. Now, I don't know where we're going here. I really don't know where we're going.
You will be a part of that.
This was a hot start.
Just let you know.
I very much enjoyed this. This was one thing that led to another that led to another. And we got the return of Jimmy Uso, and we got LA Knight back now, trying to finish off business with the Vision. The Vision is finishing themselves off. I don't think we need LA Knight embroiled in the Vision nonsense. He's the odd man out here. I don't know where we go with LA Knight going into WrestleMania. He's a big question mark. We could still be on that road to LA Knight and Brock Lesnar. You cannot put that out and say that's not happening. The fact that he is now involved here, the fact that he drove Paul Heyman away in the ambulance as Paul Heyman was bloodied after a curb stomp from Seth Rollins, the fact that they now involved him again in the Vision business. Chad, you cannot disregard the rumor. You cannot say it's Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. You can't do it. Should that be the match? Absolutely. It should absolutely be the match. But with LA Knight now involved, it gives me a bad feeling, and I hope I am wrong, that we may be looking at LA Knight versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Because if he's back involved with the Vision stuff, Braun Breaker's out, Bronson Reed is out, what is LA Knight going to do at WrestleMania? He's got no clear direction. Are you going to leave him off the WrestleMania card? It's easy to say yes. It's easy to say yes when you got a Brock Lesnar Obafemi match. Seriously. But you can't put it out there as, oh, it's not happening. I don't know where we go. I don't. I want to think that with Rollins back and Rollins being integrated into the Vision stuff, there may be a small
the original plan of Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. I'm not sure if we can believe the reports and believe WWE and believe what they told the dirt sheets and whatever everybody else is talking about. Everybody made it seem like it was some catastrophic injury. Big buzzwords were used. Oh, career-ending injury potentially. Is Braun Breaker coming back to wrestle Seth Rollins? That's the ultimate plan. That really is the ultimate plan. Or maybe WWE goes in a completely different direction. Instead of maybe Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, or LA Knight and Brock Lesnar, maybe we're looking at some sort of tag team match. Maybe we're looking at a six-man tag team match. Maybe. I don't know what the Usos do. By the looks of things tonight, it looks like they may be setting up the Usos versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory for the tag team championships. You can't leave the Usos off WrestleMania. You can't. I don't know where we go. Because the injury to Braun Breaker is really the one thing that fucked everything up here. Rollins is back. Do we get Rollins and the Usos versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Brock Lesnar? Could be. Any other way around it doesn't work. Or maybe Braun Breaker is going to be back and they're keeping it hush-hush. Maybe we get Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins, and then we do LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso against Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory. Maybe that's the direction we go in for WrestleMania. Because you're either going to leave out LA Knight or you're going to leave out the Usos. You can't leave out the Usos and you can't leave out LA Knight from being on the WrestleMania card. LA Knight is one of the biggest baby faces in the company, whether you like him or not. And the Usos, they're not leaving Yeet Man off of WrestleMania. I'm sorry. I'm going to go out there and make a prediction that we get Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins for WrestleMania. Now, I know Lesnar, he put out the open challenge. Oba Femi's the only one that makes sense to answer that. He's the only one that makes sense. So, WWE, from what we got tonight, I feel like we're headed towards Oba Femi Brock. I feel like we're headed towards Rollins and Breaker. And I feel like we're headed towards The Vision versus the Usos for the Tag Team Championships. That's the only thing that makes sense. The only thing that makes sense. But a small part of me thinks that Braun Breaker is going to be back, and I think a lot of people that were reporting that Braun Breaker is out and going to miss WrestleMania, I think WWE is going to end up bringing him back, and he's going to be a big surprise on the return to WrestleMania. That's what I think is going to happen. The Usos have no other opponents that exist on the active roster for WrestleMania. It's easy to sit there and say Usos versus Lucha Brothers or Usos versus the Hardys. If WWE wanted to think outside the box and give us the best WrestleMania show possible, them versus the Hardys, that would be on the card. But we haven't gotten any indication about that. We gotten nothing in regards to that. It's all hearsay, it's all rumor, it's all bullshit started by Matt Hardy. Lesnar, he asked for an open challenge, and he's going to wait for someone to answer the open challenge. It could be LA Knight. It's going to be Oba Femi. It's the only thing that makes sense. Brock Oba. And then Rollins is going to wrestle Breaker. In my opinion, I think that's the way we're going. Usos, and then the Vision. Could the Vision add another member? Maybe they add another member. And maybe we get a six-man tag team match with LA Knight and the Usos versus the Vision and new member. LA Knight right now is the odd man out for WrestleMania, and I'm having a very difficult time of
plugging in LA Knight to the WrestleMania card. So if you guys got a better idea, let me know. Let me know what that looks for you as far as LA Knight. But I like this opening segment. I thought this was a very hot opening segment, very hot start to Monday Night Raw, especially coming out of a very lukewarm Elimination Chamber. So they got the show started off the right way. I could see Ethan Page. In the Vision. I really could. And I know he just lost that North American Championship. There's a rumor that Heyman is calling Karrion Kross back to WWE. Yes, it's a rumor, and I have to believe it, or have to see it, rather, to believe it. I don't think that's the case. Let me know what you guys think about those WrestleMania plans. Certainly looks like we got tag team titles on the line, Usos versus Vision. I think Breakker will be back for Mania against Rollins, and then Lesnar versus Finn. Where LA Knight fits in, I have no fucking idea. I don't. And if they add another member to the Vision, maybe they do that six-man tag team match with LA Knight and the Usos versus Ethan Page, potentially. Lee manages to counter Gunther into his finish up. AJ shook her head. Championship there. What does Becky Lynch do with a third Intercontinental Championship title reign? Becky Lynch should be in the main event scene. He went from Becky to AJ Lee. It's basically the same star power, if not bigger. Becky doesn't need a third Intercontinental Championship. AJ Lee taking the belt into Mania and dropping it to somebody is going to be just as good of a creative move that you could make all weekend. Becky doesn't need that. Now, I know a lot of people laugh. Had some people tell me nobody wants to see that. Becky doesn't need a WrestleMania match that's super big and on the grandest stage, the biggest match she can do. Becky's been and done it all. She's been in there and done it all. What the fuck does she need another major match for? Becky's value is greater than main event and all these titles that she could potentially win. I know a lot of people laugh at the Jessica Carr narrative. But don't you think if Becky Lynch was in the ring with Jessica Carr at WrestleMania, that it would be a decent attraction? How many people realize that Jessica Carr is actually a professional wrestler? Don't you think the crowd in Las Vegas, not knowing any of that, seeing Jessica Carr do a Hurricane Rana and these big flashy moves to Becky Lynch, don't you think that'll get a big pop in Las Vegas on WrestleMania's biggest stage? The story is there. The whole corrupt referee angle is there. Becky and Jessica Carr would be a fine attraction for a WrestleMania match. Especially when you got Liv and Stephanie, possibly Io and Asuka. Then the tag team championships, whatever that may be. Shade and Rhea, AJ and whoever she defends the title against. I don't need to see AJ and Becky again. I don't. I don't. WWE loves getting all their women involved. I'm giving you a way to get everybody involved. How many women's matches is that? You're looking at 3 women's matches over the course of 2 nights, each night. 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. WWE's got this big thing about how great their women's division is. Rhea Jade, Io Asuka, the tag team titles, Liv Stephanie, AJ and Roxanne maybe, and then Becky and Jessica Carr. 6 fucking matches. What more do you need? I think tonight was the first night that we got maybe a sliver of a direction for Asuka and Io at WrestleMania. Whether the championship's going to be on the line or not, I don't know. I don't think they take the belt off AJ going into WrestleMania. I think that would be foolish. Speaking of AJ Lee, she's in the ring in the next segment. Don't even care. She told Stephanie that she doesn't know her. Right hands. Oba got the upper hand here and knocked Rusev into the corner, and he delivered his signature running uppercut. Oba went for a chokeslam. Rusev escaped and then delivered a big pair of roundhouse kicks. Rusev hit the ropes, but he ran right into a big spine buster by Oba. Oba then clotheslined Rusev over the top rope out to the floor. Rusev screamed in the aisleway, and that was the end of the segment. Now, I knew we weren't getting a match because WWE never books a match on the fly like this, especially with someone like Oba Femi, where they're looking to drag everything he does out. I don't know how they're going to book Oba. I don't know how they're going to make Oba feel special. I don't know what their plan is for Oba. Fans love him. Oba should be at WrestleMania. You called him up, he should be at WrestleMania. A match with Rusev works, because not only does it give him a great opponent to work with, who is someone that is legit, but it gives him a big win over a guy who can honestly match his strength. Two brutes. Now, I find it funny how Rusev asked for Oba Femi to come on out and answer his challenge. Meanwhile, Brock Lesnar legitimately showed up a week ago, said the same thing, and nobody showed up. I don't know when Brock Lesnar's next scheduled to appear. I don't know if WWE is going to unveil the guy who's going to answer the open challenge on the road to WrestleMania, or wait till WrestleMania and just give everybody what they want there, drag it out and tease the fuck out of you. Because everybody in WWE knows the fans want Oba and Brock. And if the fans want Oba and Brock, WWE's not going to give the fans what they want, because they never give the fans what they want. They'll drag it out and tease you, they'll cock tease you until Mania, and then they'll give you what you want. So Rusev called out Oba. Oba answered Rusev. Why wouldn't Oba answer Brock? Don't you think that makes Oba look like a pussy? We don't need Oba looking like a pussy. So if it's over the next couple of weeks, I would have Oba answer the call, build the match, announce the match, get the graphic up, sell some fucking tickets, and generate some excitement. I'm sticking with that. Do not wait until Mania. This Oba and Rusev match, by the way, takes place next week. Backstage. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley are backstage, and Lyra is encouraging Bayley to answer AJ Lee's open challenge. She said there was a line out of Adam Pearce's office with women signing up for AJ Lee.
Well, I might will just end the video. Until that time, hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I made this long enough. I'll see y'all later.